Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. It is that summer feels in the air. It's feeling like summer already with that humidity and a lot of clouds across the state of Alabama. We're getting some of those puffy cumulus clouds. This pattern, despite all the talk about storms, I know we haven't seen a lot. We had some storms last night. Most of the weekend, just really warm conditions out there. I know it looked kind of ominous at times, but we are tracking still that possibility of scattered showers and storms. This is just an entirely different kind of weather forecast here as you get into the summer months. We don't see the typical lines that move across the state. You deal with pockets of rain, scattered areas of rain and storms, and now we're getting into that sort of weather cycle. Let's talk about our first alert weather headlines. And yes, scattered storms a possibility, and the summer feel stays with us. Now, some of the storms between now and the end of the week, anything that pops up out there could produce some intense lightning, could be some hail produce or some gusty winds. So some of those could be on the strong side. We're not talking the tornado kind of storms, but we're talking those that could bring some gusty winds. 78 right now in Haleyville, 80 in Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Alabama at 81 degrees, and Anniston, Alabama at 78. The temperatures today making it into the low to mid 80s, but it feels hotter because it is more humid. We had a little bit of rain starting from near Irondale that popped up right around 3 o'clock. You can see it developed there near I-20. Weekend, and then we saw some more pop-ups there around Coosa and Tallapoosa County, but now for our area, not a drop of rain on radar. So in the short term, we're in good shape here, but we're going to be watching to the north tonight because next big thing is going to be a cluster of storms, the next convective system that's going to take shape across parts of Missouri and Arkansas. And currently this region's under a severe thunderstorm watch. Anything that materializes in this region, you get the storms, they pop up, it rains, and it cools things off. You get this gust front, this outflow that starts racing southward, and these storms later on tonight could catch another gear as far as dropping south. Many times I've seen storms, they'll just kind of stay in one spot, and then all of a sudden they start racing south. So later on tonight, we'll have to watch for some of those possibly sneaking in from north to south across the area. If anything, it looks like after midnight, perhaps our north and west areas. I can't promise everybody's going to see rain tonight, but parts of our area certainly could be impacted later tonight during the early morning. Possibility of some showers and storms moving in from the north. So don't be surprised. You wake up, it's 2 or 3 in the morning, loud rumble of thunder out there. It's that kind of setup. And then we'll catch a break again. Could see some more development tomorrow afternoon and then another break tomorrow night. So there's going to be plenty of in-between periods. Still some dry weather, some hot conditions at times throughout the week. But we'll take you through the rest of the week and Memorial Day weekend. That's something we're going to be talking about here coming up on First Alert Weather Extra, and also coming up here on Weather Extra. We go beyond the 7-day forecast. This heat that we're talking about, parts of Missouri being impacted by some record levels. Dust storm dangers in parts of the country. We'll show you where a new tornado shelter in our area was unveiled today. Some great news. Love it every time we see those new shelters popping up around the area. And some new ways to look into hurricane forecasting to gather that data as we continue. We're getting close to hurricane season. You're watching Weather Extra. Stay with us.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Good Day, Alabama.
A new morning comes with preparing right, because while you slept, news broke.
We have new information from that breaking news that happened this morning.
While you head out, the storm we gave you the first alert for is on its way in. And as the key turns the ignition, your shorter route to work is being found.
Avoid 459 southbound completely because of a crash.
A new morning means everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama, always on your side.
The First Alert traffic you need to get you there safe and on time. Tomorrow morning, everything you need for a good day is on Good Day, Alabama.
You're late, out the door, and on the go. Don't worry.
Good Day, Alabama continues all morning long.
And wherever you watch, this is what you need to know right now.
More reporters on the streets with more hours of news when you need it. Everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. You may have noticed it's a little steamier outside. The past few days, the humidity and the heat are back in central Alabama. We check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson for ways to beat the heat.
So Mickey, over the weekend starting to feel a little bit like summertime with the heat and the humidity.
And it's like a summer weather pattern that we've been seeing too, but the heat and the humidity combine to put those temperatures, you know, we get made fun of with our cold weather by people from the north, but a lot of folks can't handle the heat and humidity.
Yeah, the heat can actually be a big killer. In fact, the 30-year average heat-related deaths, #1.
How about that?
About 143 on average, and then flooding is second. And you would probably think tornadoes or maybe hurricanes. That's ranked 3rd and 4th. So now is the time to talk about heat safety, heat precaution. I know you probably have heard it several times, but we just want to stress it because look at these numbers. Kids dying in the back seat of a car, you know, parents not realizing they're back there, and then they find out. Yeah, not good. 33 last year in all those states. We had 3 in the state of Alabama.
Goodness, and that's a lot of that can just be prevented. So just got to take precautions. Pediatric vehicular heat stroke deaths. Oh, these are the ranges for the past few years.
Yeah, it was really bad in 2018 and 2019, and 2022 went up about, 8 or so, or almost at 10 from just the year before that. So we're hoping we can prevent those deaths going into this year. And obviously, just sitting in a car for 10 minutes can raise those temperatures rapidly, and that can cause some major problems. So always check the back seat.
You got to think about your pets too.
That's
your
right.
Pets in the car as well. So drier air allows moisture to evaporate, which cools your body off. But when you have humid air, it limits evaporation, which not only makes you feel uncomfortable, but you tend to have that heat stroke.
Right, and you know, when you get hot, you sweat and it evaporates off your skin, and that's what cools you off. But when there's just so much mugginess in the air, it prevents that from happening. So these are basic, tips, safety tips that you've heard of. We just want to stress it because we are entering those really warm months, and it's going to stay with us, easily through September. So obviously, as we were just mentioning, never leave your pets or kids inside a parked vehicle. Always check the back seat. And of course, if you're going to be outside for an extended period of time, especially, people that are outside working, could be construction workers, post office, it could be football players during the summer months practicing outside. Just make sure they drink a lot of water, stay hydrated.
And you got to wait for your body also in this time of the year to get acclimated to the heat,
Right.
just because it can be a shock on your system until your body is acclimated. So you just want to slow it down, try not to overexert yourself, find some shade or the air conditioning. And if you're outside, we probably learned this as Southerners, wear lightweight, light-colored clothing is a good idea.
Yeah, and those are some good tips. Another thing I would suggest, I used to march in the marching band at the University of Georgia, and on Saturday afternoon game days, it would be 90 degrees. I would be in layers and that thick marching band outfit suit. And just want to let you know, one of my things that I did was to make sure I was hydrated before game day, before the event. So I would drink a lot of water Friday, and that would really help me out by Saturday. So I cannot tell you how many times by Saturday night I felt miserable, I had a headache,
I bet.
And I had sunburn. So, just always try to be preventative when it comes to knowing you're going to be outside for a long time.
And when you say stay hydrated, we're not talking about alcoholic
No.
beverages, 'cause that'll dehydrate you in a hurry.
Yeah, so water, Gatorade, Powerade, all that stuff, that will help you out in the long term, especially if you do it beforehand, not just during. So stay safe. Summer's pretty much here. Definitely looks like it this week in the forecast.
Stay safe, stay cool, man.
Stay safe.
Stay cool.
Well, new tonight, the town of Wilsonville opening a new tornado shelter. If you need a safe place in a storm, this new one is right across from Wilsonville Elementary School and behind the volunteer fire department. Wilsonville's fire chief says you can download the Everbridge app from the Shelby County EMA website to learn when the shelter will be open for severe weather. A little farther away from home, NASA launched 2 satellites to study tropical storms and hurricanes over the weekend. They're set to measure the hour-by-hour formation and progression of tropical cyclones and hurricanes with an enhanced specificity. It's coming at a perfect time. The Atlantic hurricane season is set to start on June 1st. Hard to believe that is less than a month away now. Well, a new study shows dust storms, while considered dangerous, are far deadlier than previously thought. The study, published in the Bulletin of the American Meteorological Society, took a closer look at mortality and dust storm data. William Pitts has details.
There's no official record of the number of people who have died in dust storms, but a group of researchers have done their own tally and come up with hundreds of people who've died in dust storms over the last 2 decades.
Dust storms. They're a fact of Arizona monsoon life. Walls of dust tearing through the desert, swallowing entire cities, dropping visibility to almost nothing. Gritty, dirty, and dangerous. Experts looked at data from 2007 to 2017 and at first came up with 10 deaths, or 1 a year.
That's just not add up to what we know.
Daniel Tong co-wrote the paper that took a second look at the numbers and found they were way off.
We found that dust storms killed 20 times more people than previously known.
The real number is 232 people in 10 years. It happens in places like I-10, where there were so many crashes, ADOT installed a dust storm warning system.
This is all off-the-shelf technology, but to our knowledge, nobody else has ever combined all the elements into this system.
It's been installed for 3 years, and ADOT says it can tell that drivers are noticing. The system shows drivers slowing down when it activates, and it activates kind of a lot.
We've had between about 10 and 18 activations per year, with most of those occurring during the monsoon.
Monsoon is when we see the big walls of dust around Arizona, but the experts say dust storms can and are hitting everywhere at any time.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Like this massive 75-car crash when a dust storm rolled through Illinois.
Something that we really haven't experienced locally.
Tong says that's a preview of what's coming as climate change and drought bring dust storms to places that haven't usually seen them.
Well, dust is going to be with us, just like COVID. It's going to be with us forever. It's going to happen anywhere.
And you know, a common misconception we see in the meteorology community is people associate monsoons with a deluge of rain. But monsoons are actually a seasonal reversal of the winds. You can get a wet monsoon and a dry monsoon, and sometimes those dry monsoons can bring dust storms. So we're always going to give you the science here. Coming up next, we check in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt to see when maybe, just maybe, we could see some storms with this wacky weather pattern. And I'll take you beyond the 7-day. We'll be right back.
West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling easy and more affordable for everyone. Hey everybody, I'm joined by Kirsten Page from West Shore to find out exactly how they're making that happen. Kirsten.
So Joe, we've been able to give homeowners, over 165,000 of them, the shower and bath of their dreams by making it a fast, easy, and convenient experience. But now we're making it even more affordable to start your project without breaking the bank.
Now Kirsten, when someone starts a remodeling project, costs can be a real concern. So how are you making it more affordable to start that project right now?
So instead of me telling you, why don't I show you? This homeowner was having some problems with their old shower. They called us, we stopped out, and we completely removed the old bathtub and replaced it with a walk-in shower in just 1 day. The best part? We can do a job like this for as low as $99 a month.
$99 a month, that's incredible.
It really is. We understand that budgets can be a little tighter this time of the year, so we want to make it easier for folks to get their projects started right now. So let's go ahead and look at another project we recently did. This homeowner was so excited to get rid of their old bathtub because they were getting an easy, low-step shower. You can see here we took out that old bathtub and removed everything down to the studs. Then we installed new walls and fixtures. By dinner time, this homeowner had their brand new shower, and the best part, they didn't need to worry about paying for their entire project up front. They were able to break it down into low monthly payments.
That project looks amazing, and the low monthly payments is going to make getting that project started so much easier. Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling fast and convenient, and you heard Kirsten, now they're making it more affordable too with their easy, low monthly payments. Call the number on your screen right now to start your project, and when you do, take advantage of this great offer. Call in now to get your new shower for as little as $99 a month. On top of that, they're doing free installation on all shower and bath projects. Don't delay. Call the experts at West Shore Home now.
Welcome back into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We are tracking those rain chances for several more days here. I know over the weekend, despite all the talk about storms, we didn't see a lot. Last night we had some storms in parts of the area, but that's the nature of this kind of pattern that we're in. This is a whole different game here now that we get into May, June, July. You get these clusters of storms. Wet weather becomes more localized and more scattered, and most often we see that here this time of the year, and that's the kind of pattern that we're in this week. It feels like summer. You step outside, the humidity's back. We're breaking out the muggy meter here. We're having to dig into the archives there and break out some of our summertime weather graphics this week. Next big thing, well, we're watching for the next complex of storms, and this is the routine we're going to be in here. We catch a break. We had a little bit of rain earlier. Next in line is what's going to be happening here to the northwest. Yeah, this is Missouri. Yeah, way north of us. But what happens, there's a chance as storms develop here, this activity starts to move south tonight, and some of it could hold together and reach parts of our area by tomorrow morning. So giving you the first alert, if this holds together, I can't promise everybody's going to see rain out of this, but sometimes these systems can surprise you and overperform and hold together. So just in case they do reach our northern areas, especially Coleman to Fayette, Hamilton, maybe even as far south as Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, just know late tonight, early morning hours, we could hear a rumble of thunder. But that's what we're going to be watching as that moves south. And what that's going to do is leave a boundary left behind. So tomorrow, that's kind of the focal point for more development that happens into the afternoon. So here we go. We're dry again through midnight at least. And then tomorrow morning, this is the next opportunity for wet weather and the possibility of some storms as this moves in from the north. There's 8 a.m. Again, some of that may hold together. And again, we break into some warm weather, humid, some dry weather tomorrow. We'll have some sun in the mix, but again, we'll start to see some of those puffy cumulus clouds like what we saw today. I know at times it looked like the bottom was about to fall out, but wet weather has stayed rather remote, rather isolated for today. But then tomorrow afternoon, well, this will be the next round that we'll need to watch out for. Some redevelopment happening in that 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock window tomorrow, most likely where that round from the overnight kind of leaves off. We'll see some redevelopment later in the day. You can see scattered storms possible as we heat up. And then we'll catch another break. We get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, similar setups out there. So check in with us. This is a day-to-day situation here in these kind of patterns. You'll certainly want to get the latest as we fine-tune the timing on this. But for regions, I don't expect a washout with this pattern continuing. It looks like we'll have plenty of opportunities there for enjoying the events out at Greystone Golf and Country Club this week. And towards the end of the week, Homestead Hollow going into Mother's Day weekend. You can see that rain chance is 20%. It's not a total washout. Again, we'll be watching for some afternoon storms, but everything so far, the way 2023 has gone, it seems like everything's running, at least for us here in Alabama, ahead of schedule. And the way it feels out there right now, it feels like we're already jumping into that summer pattern. As we go to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Lauren, looks like this weekend possibility that we could touch 90 in some areas by Sunday.
Yeah, Wes, not out of the question that we could see a close chance to get near 90 this weekend. But what about beyond the 7-day? Well, I will tell you 8 to 14 days from now, we have been seeing signs that actually it could be a little bit cooler. Not the case across the Pacific Northwest and up the West Coast into the northern plains, and not the case for the far southeast into Florida, South Georgia, and parts of the Carolinas. But for us here in Birmingham and central Alabama on the eastern eastern periphery of some cooler than average temperatures within the next 8 to 14 days. So I think once we get past this upcoming weekend, which is going to be probably a little toasty for Mother's Day, look what happens as we get into next week. We'll see some 80s in the forecast, but potentially getting into that following weekend of May, highs possibly only in the 70s. So a chance for some below average temperatures. Now, will that last? Likely not. As Wes said, we're beginning to flip the switch to that more summer-like weather pattern, and we know oftentimes it'll stay that way and not change much. So we may get one little brief cool down once we get past this weekend. So we're talking about the following weekend with temperatures getting back down into the 50s, maybe even some 40s, but not a guarantee at this time. Goodness knows with this weather pattern in place, our models are having a really hard time digesting the data and spitting out what a possible scenario for a forecast would be, even beyond the 7-day. So as we look at that 8 to 14 day rainfall outlook as well, suggesting that parts of Alabama could see above average precipitation. And if we were to see a cool down in the forecast, that could certainly be aided by more clouds around. So let's look beyond the 7-day. Here we are next Tuesday, May 16th, showing some clouds around, but not too much in the way of rain. But eventually, as we get later into your Tuesday, possibly some showers developing going into Wednesday, the middle of the week. So still seeing possibility of a northwest flow pattern in place, and that's the one that can be really tricky, but sometimes you'll see in May it's difficult to figure out when exactly those disturbances are going to come through. Here we are the following Friday, May 19th, showing the possibility of an area of low pressure developing in the Gulf that could bring some wet weather to Alabama the weekend of the 20th and the 21st. So certainly if you do manage to get a system to develop that can bring a lot of rain and cloud cover, that can help to knock temperatures down a bit too, possibly into that following Monday, May 22nd. But we've certainly been looking at all of the data here. I was just checking to see if we got in a new model run, and nope, we are still seeing this data here that is really difficult to get a handle on. But we, of course, will be keeping you updated on that First Alert weather app if we do see any changes in the forecast. In the meantime, we've been talking about the heat here, but dangerous heat as well in Missouri. A livestock auction says half a dozen animals died over the weekend when the weather got hot. But people who were there say they saw more dead animals than that, and the auction company didn't do enough to protect them. Liam Garrity has the story.
As we looked around, there were just bunnies dying everywhere. They can't handle that heat. There were dead chickens in multiple different cages.
They're not mine. I'm just trying to save them.
I don't think there was a thought to pause it because they wanted to try to get these animals back to where a new place, either back home with their original owner or home with the new buyer.
Whole shaded area, but nobody had it until after they sold.
Saturday at Robert Brothers Livestock Auction in Bolivar, customers called it chaos.
They had set aside in kind of the dead pile. And I said, have you checked that one yet to make sure they're all dead? And he just kind of scooted it to me.
Customer Colby Hodges says animals weren't being moved quick enough. Debbie McGinnis, a spokesperson for the auction, told me everything happened too fast.
Without a question, we're sorry that it happened. It was a little unavoidable, not knowing how quickly the temperature was going to change.
She says this is not normal.
We've been in business for 64 years. We've never had anything like this happen before.
McGinnis says once they noticed the issue, they started moving animals into a shaded carport and made canopies. Hodges says she took in over 30 chickens, a chick, and some rabbits. She feared they would die in buckets if left out in the heat.
As I started pulling them over into the shade, was about half live, half dead.
Hodges says even after getting them home, more died. And she saw dozens of dead animals at the auction. But McGinnis told me out of 565 heads, half a dozen died.
And after they were in the shade, we went to try to dispose of them, and they popped back to life.
McGinnis says they had a vet check all the animals in the morning before the auction. And no one wants this to ever happen again.
This was an unusual situation. We had to flex and pivot as fast as we could, both for the animals' sake and to complete our obligation of getting those animals sold so they could get back home.
We treat our animals like pets. I kind of figured I might be disappointed in some things, but I did not expect to see animals dying as they were being sold.
McGinnis says next week's auction will have more canopies and shade. The company also claims it reported the incident to the Missouri Department of Agriculture. Coming up next on Weather Extra, more lighthearted animal story and a final look at that forecast. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be in your tornado safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Sometimes you may feel cooped up and want to get out and see the world, but you have some pets and you need them to be watched after. But sometimes you have more than just the standard cat and dog. We check in for a new pet sitting business out of the Midwest that could help you, well, not feel so cooped up anymore.
Presenting Lefsa, Chelan, and don't forget Gilly.
They definitely make everything more fun.
And a little more messy. These ducks belong to Dana and Greg Heinen in Richfield, where you can see they're loving life. Swimming and snoozing in an elaborate coop Dana made, complete with artwork.
The individual personalities kind of makes it more like a pet than like a farm animal.
But with any pet, they learned vacations pose a problem. It's why they started a flock sitting business for ducks and chickens in the metro.
For most properties, we don't go every single day. It's usually maybe 3 or 4 days while the owners are gone, checking in and kind of cleaning up, collecting eggs, making sure everybody's safe. We have a good idea as what it looks like if a chicken or a duck is not feeling right.
They share photos with the owners of their adventures while they're away.
I think a lot of people are excited for the idea of having us like in their back pocket.
They also offer duck encounters, allowing families to come over and interact with the ducks like Lefsa here before committing to owning one of their own.
They can come over and we put out blankets and we hang out with the ducks, and then we did a couple times where we would dig in the dirt and find worms, and that's been really fun.
They hope their business can help connect a growing community of urban backyard flock owners who also need to fly the coop from time to time.
There's so many of us around that don't have that community that it kind of allows us to start having some conversations and learn from each other.
In Richfield, Kirsten Mitchell, WCCO News.
Oh, I may have to get a flock of my own there. So as we look ahead to the next 7 days, we still have an off and on chance of storms. I wish I could tell you with certainty when these rounds are going to be coming in, but it's really hard to pinpoint. So just know there's going to be a chance of storms around each day, and it's definitely going to be warm, potentially even warmer by the weekend. But you can check in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt tonight for an update on your forecast on First at 9. In the meantime, join us here on Weather Extra every weeknight at 6:30. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Monday evening.